Don't you go telling housekeeping that I'm using a white plate as my palette and a wine glass for a shape. Oh, yes, that looks flippin' awesome. Oh, that's just beautiful. Look at the view.
Yeah, wow.
So my son Josiah saw that they had these beautiful, incredible boxes with mooncakes at the Ritz-Carlton. He saw it on Instagram, I think, and he's like, oh, my mum would really like that for her paints. So as we were coming here, he emailed them and said, can I get one of those boxes? But the promotion ended before we came, so I don't think he heard back. But guess what happened? That's just beautiful.
Oh, look at this.
Oh man.
Oh my god, Mum, look, they've got one of the mooncake boxes with art pieces in there for you to use.
Oh, did you tell him? Oh, look at that. Josiah, look at that. That is so cool. That's fully got paints and everything and an easel. Oh man, what were you telling them, Josiah?
I don't know.
That's so cool. The fabulous people here at the Ritz-Carlton put together this incredible gift package on our arrival. Look at that. That's just amazing. And then there's fruit, but then there's the box. Ta-da! With paint in it. Hello, with actual paint in it to paint, and a little canvas and a little palette and a palette knife and brushes. And there is the easel and the canvas ready to go. Look at the view. I mean, come on, that's got to be the most spectacular studio setup in history. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. They also provided this beautiful welcome to the Ritz personal note and a list of other places which I might find interesting to get some art supplies from. I mean, service above and beyond is all I'm saying. Can't wait to get into these fabulous paints. Yes, I know. I'm going to have to move it because I'll splash paint everywhere. So I'll have to set it up. It's just as well I brought that plastic tablecloth with me. We're going to have to move it slightly over that way, maybe put down a drop cloth and try not to get paint everywhere because it's a little lush in here. I don't want to wreck the place and get kicked out. So this has got to be the best studio view. Right? Look at that view. That is just fantastic. This is my studio. Here are the paints that I've been given, and these colors apparently are the Ritz-Carlton colors, and I was given those colors, and here's my fabulous easel and canvas all ready to go. Let's hope I don't spill it on the floor, but I did put down a little bit of plastic, right? Because we don't really want to be getting kicked out for spilling the paint on the floor. But they gave it to me, that's all I'm saying. They gave it to me. So here I am in my fabulous studio at the Ritz-Carlton and loving life, baby. What are we going to do with this? That is the question. Now these paints are actually folk art paint, so they're pretty thin. That's going to be fun. There's not really much point in pulling out the palette knife because the paint really is a bit thin for that. And I have these little brushes and they're really tiny. Let me tell you, this is going to be a challenge. What am I painting? No idea, but I've got 3 tiny little brushes and some very thin blue paint. But you know, that's half the fun, right? Let's see what we can do with what we've been given. Yay! So I'm just going to start by putting some paint on the canvas. No idea where we're going or what we're doing, but that's a pretty nice, beautiful colour. I'm really loving that glorious sculpture in the foyer. Maybe we'll get inspired by the curves of that glorious sculpture. That's pretty nice. I think it's a Frank Stella sculpture and it's got some really nice curve to it. So maybe we'll just, you know, gain some inspiration from that. I'm not a representational artist, so as much as yay, the view is really beautiful and all, that's not really what does it for me. For me, it's really about how it feels, the lines, the colors and the shapes. I'm definitely abstract expressionist in my application. And I love abstract art. So, you know, you're not going to get a picture of the glorious city. It's just not going to happen. If that's what you were hoping for, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I'm just going to add some of these beautiful colors onto the canvas and see where we go with this. You know, I think I could probably get more into it if I lay it flat. So how about I do that? Yes, we've got to get a little bit of gusto into it. This tiny brush, seriously, is quite challenging. I mean, what about if I did some finger painting? I know, right? Man, I'm going to lay it flat and try the palette knife because this is just a little too slow. I'm thinking, yes, it is. Okay, now we've got it flat because it's more fun, basically. That's the reason. It's just more fun to have it flat, to pour the paint out and to hope for the best. Righto, so we're pouring on the beautiful colours. Now we are, yes, getting out the palette knife. I dabbed at it very politely with the little brush, but I just wasn't feeling that. So now we're going to have to get a bit of abstract expressionism going on with the palette knife. No, I still don't know what I'm doing or what I'm creating just yet, but it's a lot of fun. So, you know, really, that's what it's all about. Let's get a bit of depth down this side. Oh, yes. Gotta love me a little bit of drama. You know that I do. Still liking the curve idea, inspired by that sculpture downstairs. Yeah, I'm still digging that idea. Might bring the black around here, perhaps up there. Maybe some more of the blue, so it's more of a blue-black. Yeah, a bit of indigo. Sounds good. Oh, yes. Loving that. Oh, yes. Loving that. Loving the drama. We could do this, put this background on and then maybe paint something more delicate with the little brushes. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? It's definitely going to be abstract. We know that much. Well, what do you expect? They gave me bottles of paint and a palette knife. Did you expect me to put it on nice and politely with the brush? Well, I thought I might, but you know, it's not going to happen, is it? No, it's not. We are not putting it on politely with a brush. Let's finish covering this section of the canvas And we'll see where we're at. Where do we want to go? Oopsies. Just about stabbed it. Loving these shades of blue. Now, what do we want to do with our composition? I am loving the abstract quality of the strokes of the palette knife because it's got a lot of energy. I'm liking the energy. So I think we're definitely going to keep that. Maybe we'll just tidy it up a little bit. And then I think we should put some shapes into it. What kind of shapes, you ask? I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll have a look around the room and see what we can find that's going to make some marks. Maybe a little bit of this colour. Oh yeah, I'm liking that because I like strong contrast. So putting that lighter colour clashing with those darker shades, I just enjoy that. The more you mess with this kind of style with the palette knife, the more blended the paint becomes. The less you kind of mess with it, then the more it's just the shape of the paint. So you have to kind of work out what you want to do. Do you want it just stabs of paint or do you want your colours blended? I'm kind of liking both. I like the energy of the stabs of paint, but then you do want some areas blended as well. I love the shape and the line of the palette knife. Righto, so let's have a look and see what else is in the room that we can use to make some marks on this fabulous background. Okay, so I've got some white paint on a plate. Don't you go telling housekeeping that I'm using a white plate as my palette and a wine glass for a shape. Oh yes, that looks flippin' awesome. Just don't go telling of me now. Oh man, loving that. That's working. Working. It's all about the art, baby. All about it. Just don't go dobbing on me now and telling anybody that I'm using the beautiful wine glass from the Ritz-Carlton to make shapes on the painting. Now, what else do we want? Oh, you know, I'm just liking that. Are we allowed to be that simple? I know that's simple, but I'm really liking it. Just like that. I think I'll just let it dry like that and then decide if there's anything else I want to add to it, because it's got some nice energy and I think it's working really well. And I'll just go and wash the wine glass before anyone finds out. That's a good idea. Okay, well, of course, I couldn't leave it alone because look at this incredible paint making utensil. The fabulous coffee pod from the machine. I'm thinking that we need some little black circles. But, you know, I'll wash it up. I promise I'll wash the plate. It'll be all right. I'm thinking some little black circles with the coffee pod. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that's going to work. There's a stamp, baby. Stamping that. Righto, what do you reckon? Let's do it in between these ones. Oh, yes. And it's got some attitude. Yes, it's geometric. It's happening. I'm all about it. Loving that texture. Do you think I should stop? I mean, somebody stop me. Should I stop or should I keep adding circles? No, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop and let that be, like I said last time. Sure. Right, let's just take the circles off the edge. You know I can't stop, right? Yeah, that looks cool. Yes, I am totally digging that. I like the circle contrasting against the lines of the palette knife. The colours are working. Righto, we'll let that dry and then see if we need to add anything else with those precious little brushes. Okay, so this is what we've got so far, and we'll decide when it dries if we need to add anything else to it or if it's okay. I'm liking it like this, but you know, I do change my mind quite often. And here are my beautiful palette and the paint making tools of the wine glass and the coffee pod. So, you know, don't give me any excuses that you don't have the right materials to make art, because clearly you do. And this color mix is good. It's working with everything that the beautiful Ritz-Carlton gave me, provided me for my creative pleasure. Just loving it. Right, so the painting is all beautiful and dry, and I've decided that compositionally I like it going this way. I painted it this way, but I'm liking this way because of this sweeping line across there. I think that's really cool. Now, what else am I going to do to it? If I was at home, I'd probably put some stencil or some texture on it. So why don't we do that? What can we find to create some kind of stencil mark? Now, this beautiful fruit box, oh my gosh, came with the glorious gift that I received when we first arrived, on our arrival, and I love it. It was beautiful. It's fabulous. So I'm thinking, what about if we take the fruit out, yes, and use this textured paper that's in the bottom of the fruit box, right? Why not? This looks like something that I would have received from Taperology a few weeks ago, and I know that it would make a pretty cool stencil. So I'm going to try that, start with that and see how we go. Just using the same colours and one of these little brushes, and let's give that a try and see how good we can create some marks with that. You know, this brilliant idea may or may not work, but we have to at least try. It's pretty cool stuff. It's a nice little piece, and I'm thinking we could add some of maybe the lighter colour, or maybe I'll just put all of the colours out and see how we go. Now it's going to be a matter of holding it still to use it as a stencil to create some of that texture. Maybe we'll start with some of the dark colour and then build up to the lighter colour. And we'll see if this works. We just want to add a few shapes and a bit of texture to the background just to make it a little bit more interesting. Keeping it still might be a bit of a challenge. So let's see if my idea has actually worked or if we're trying something else. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. It's got a pretty nice textural surface to it. I think that's working okay. Let's just add a bit more and see if we can extend this composition down this side a little. And I don't think we really need to do too much more to it because it's pretty nice abstract painting. This little piece of textured paper is working for my stencil idea, which is pretty cool, right? You gotta like it when it works. So how are we looking? Do you like this added texture? Shall I do a little bit more? What do you think? So I'm just adding some more of the paint through my fabulous stencil because it's making a really cool texture. Look how good that looks. Right, so I'm finished with the texture of my fabulous stencil, but I think I need to lighten up these coffee pod prints because they're a bit dark and dreary. So we'll add a bit of the blue and just go over that same area. And I think that that's going to look a lot better. A little bit brighter. You see, you've just got to use what you've got laying around. What do you mean you can't use a coffee pod? Take a stamp. Of course you can. Ta-da! Looks way better with another layer of blue over the top, and the ring of it creates an outer circle as well, and that looks really cool. I'm liking that. And then I think we're pretty much done. I'm going to paint the edges to make it more neater. I would love to varnish it, but I don't know if I'm going to get out to get varnish because it's pouring with rain today, and I'm really not keen to go out into the weather. But that is looking beautiful. I'm pretty sure I should title the painting Blue Rising. What do you think about that? I think it's been a whole heap of fun. Thank you to the Ritz-Carlton for providing materials for my creative expression. Yay! And it's been such a pleasure doing this painting in my room. And you know, I am going to clean it up before housekeeping comes and catches me with all of this paint. Righto, so let's have a look when that dries up. But I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll show you when it's finished. Yay! Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this fabulous adventure. Now, if you would like to see behind the scenes or exclusive content, then come and join me on Patreon. There's a whole lot more going on there. So come back and join me next week as we continue with these fabulous art travels adventures.